Hello friends! In today's video, I am going to be reviewing this beautiful watercolor sketchbook from Mossery. For those of you who are not familiar, Mossery is a stationery company based in Malaysia. They create really gorgeous notebooks and sketchbooks that you can totally customize. You get to choose the cover design, the binding, the paper, and you can even get your name foil printed on the front. Instead of my name, I chose to get imawonder printed on the front. I also went with this really cute cat cover illustrated by Heikala, and I got spiral binding. I generally prefer spiral binding to ensure that the pages will lay perfectly flat when I'm painting, and this sketchbook has 300 GSM, as I know, 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. The sketchbook has a hard, sturdy cover and an elastic band that keeps the sketchbook securely closed for when you want to travel with it. There's also a pocket in the back to hold any loose papers or notes that you may need to keep on you as well. Not only is the packaging so thoughtfully made, as you can probably see, they also included a mini Inktober zine that features 31 different artists that participated last year in their prompt list. The illustration in this video was actually the second time I used this sketchbook. If you saw on my Instagram, I actually did another piece with watercolor and colored pencil. For this review, though, I chose to use Acrylic Gouache, and all the brands and supplies that I used will be listed in the description box below. To begin, I would like to mention that Mossery reached out and so kindly sent this sketchbook to me. They have also provided me a link for you guys to use so that you can get 15% off your own sketchbook. I will say that I do make a small commission if you decide to use the code, but it is at no extra cost to you. I would also like to mention that they are not, however, paying me to make this video or to say anything particular, so all of my opinions will be totally honest. The reason I chose to use gouache for this second piece is because, to be honest, I didn't love the way the watercolor layered on the paper the first time I worked on it. I found that the paper, while it held up perfectly fine, when I would put multiple layers of watercolor, it turned out kind of patchy. And of course, I'm definitely going to keep experimenting with it and use maybe different watercolors or other medias. It's possible that the patchiness was a result of me not waiting long enough for the first layer to dry, or any number of reasons, which is why it's good to not write off your supplies right away. Sometimes you just have to find different ways with working with it. Having used gouache with this paper, on the other hand, though, it was really easy to use right away. The paper has a lighter tooth than the usual cold press paper that I normally work with, which makes laying down the gouache quite smooth and easy to work with. Also, because of its lighter tooth, I am also looking forward to doing more mixed media pieces with it as well, such as using colored pencil over layers of paint, which I had tried last time as well. I find that most cold press papers to be too textured for that technique, so I am happy to find a little happy medium with this paper. I often get a lot of questions about how to use gouache on my Instagram, and in the future, I definitely will make a more in-depth video about my process. Even though I have been using gouache on and off for many years, I know I still have a lot to learn about it, so I don't want to jump into a tutorial or anything right away until I have a more consistent handle on it. Half the time when I'm painting, especially when it comes to gouache and acrylic paint, I go through a phase during the process when I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just keep pushing through and hope that eventually it will all come together in the end. Gouache seems to be something that really stumps people, and I think that Gouache, in particular, for me anyway, goes through a lot of really ugly stages when you're working with it. And I think some people might give up before you get to the nicer looking stages. And to you, I say just keep experimenting, keep pushing, and try and finish it even if it looks ugly, because you never know what the end result might be. Even if in the end it is ugly, at least you probably learned a lot along the way. And I find that's the funny thing about Instagram, because most of the time you're just seeing the beautiful end result of someone's piece, when unknowingly in the background, this artist might have gone through several trial and error pieces to reach the one that you're seeing in the end. So don't give up. I believe in you. Just keep experimenting and don't forget to have fun with it. As for me so far, I will say I think I prefer using acrylic gouache as opposed to regular gouache. The reason for that being that I can use many layers of acrylic gouache without having to worry about the layer underneath being disturbed. With regular gouache, similar to watercolor, even after you paint a layer and it's dried, the water can reactivate it again, which sometimes can be a good thing depending on your intention or desired effect. But for me, I find that the predictability of acrylic gouache, knowing that the layer has dried, I can go over it with as much scrubbing and brushing without it moving at all. As you can probably see watching this time lapse, I definitely used many, many layers of paint, and the paper did not warp and the surface held up really well. Also, later on, when I peeled the masking tape off, the paper didn't tear or lift, which I was really thankful for. Nothing is worse than finishing a piece and when you go to take the tape off, thinking you'll get some nice peel porn action and it just rips. It's definitely happened to me before with other paper, and it is very, very frustrating. I would also like to mention that this painting was done for a drawing challenge created by Charlie Clements over on Instagram. They created a really cute prompt list of themes they called Fun with Faces for people to interpret for 7 days. This prompt particularly was leopard print, long hair, and sunglasses. I'll leave Charlie's Instagram in the description in case you wanted to check out their gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. My initial thought for this prompt was to go for a big leopard print coat, but then with the sunglasses, that made me think of summer instead. So I don't know about you, but I love me some really, really fun sunglasses. I actually own a pair of heart-shaped sunglasses pretty similar to this girl in the illustration, but mine are actually in black. I do think a yellow pair would be super, super fun though. Like many of my illustrations, I did a digital version first to do the sketch and to map out the color palette I wanted to use. And initially, I intended for the background to be this neon hot pink. But after I painted it in, I found that it was maybe a little too loud and it was competing with the figure. So ultimately, I ended up painting over it with a teal. Unfortunately, I didn't end up filming it in case that the repaint was a disaster, and thankfully it ended up being okay, and I actually am really glad that I repainted it because I think that this teal background complements the girl a lot better and it allows her to stand out. And yeah, even after all of those layers of paint, the paper did not warp at all. Needless to say, I am really happy with this sketchbook and I'm really excited to continue working in it. Let me know in the comments if there's a particular medium or technique that you'd like to see me do a video on using this sketchbook. I definitely value your input, and I do want to make the types of videos that you guys want to see. So do let me know, and I will get to it as soon as I can. So if you guys are interested in trying it out and getting your own sketchbook, or if you think that it'd make a really great gift for somebody else, my link for the 15% off will be in the description box below. The discount code is valid until May 15th, so make sure to grab it before that date, otherwise you will lose out on the discount. And I just wanted to send out another thank you to Mossery for sending me this beautiful sketchbook. And thank you, friend, for watching this video. I hope that you found this review helpful. And if you should get your own, I hope that you love it as much as I do. Bye-bye for now.